The Arctic is a sought-after destination for many people's dreams. Within the Arctic Circle, the Svalbard archipelago is the northernmost inhabited group of islands in the world. It showcases the beauty of the Arctic with its unique natural landscapes that exhibit a desolate yet serene atmosphere. Primitive glaciers, vast fjords, and expanses of snow interweave, creating a spectacular panorama in the extreme cold environment. This attracts numerous travelers and adventurers from around the world. The Svalbard archipelago is situated between mainland Norway and the North Pole. Spanning from approximately 74 degrees to 81 degrees north latitude and 10 degrees to 35 degrees east longitude. Our cruise set sail from Honningsvåg port in Norway, crossing the vast Barents Sea of the Arctic Ocean for over 30 hours before finally catching sight of the land along the coast of the Svalbard archipelago. The coastal mountains appeared like clouds, gently touched by a thin mist, creating a dreamlike atmosphere. The mountain peaks were blanketed in white snow, resembling silver-clad attire, sparkling and dazzling. Amidst the clouds and mist, the mountains revealed themselves in a mysterious silhouette. Majestic brown and green mountain ranges rose in ripples from the Arctic highland tundra, appearing like formidable and valiant guardians silently protecting this magical land at the edge of the world. The Svalbard archipelago is located at the edge of the world, and its sovereignty belongs to Norway. According to the Svalbard Treaty, citizens of the contracting parties have the right to reside on the islands on equal terms with Norwegian nationals. This means that citizens of these contracting countries can freely enter and exit the Svalbard archipelago without the need for application or visas, and can indefinitely reside there as long as they do not violate Norwegian laws. Our cruise docked in Longyearbyen. Longyearbyen, located at approximately 78 degrees north latitude, about 1,500 kilometers from the North Pole. It is the largest settlement in the Svalbard archipelago. A 10-minute ride from the pier brought us to the Radisson Hotel where we would be staying. A reindeer wandered in front of the hotel, as if welcoming guests to this edge-of-the-world destination. The hotel, situated in the city center, allowed us to leisurely stroll through the small town, exploring its sights. Despite being the capital of Svalbard, Longyearbyen only has 2 streets, making it nearly impossible for even the most directionally challenged person to get lost. However, the town boasts a university, hospital, hotels, restaurants, supermarkets, and shops. This northernmost town is home to approximately 2,000 residents from around the world. The brightly colored, pointed roof houses exude Norwegian and Arctic characteristics, creating the illusion of entering a colorful fairy tale world. Longyearbyen experiences polar day and polar night, with a combined duration exceeding 8 months. From mid-April to mid-August is the polar day, while the polar night lasts from late October to mid-February. People poetically describe the passage of time in Longyearbyen, saying, "A year feels like a day and a night." Thus, it's said that in Longyearbyen, you could have a romantic one-night stand, and by the time the day breaks, it would be 3 months later. We arrived in early July, during Longyearbyen's season of 24-hour daylight. providing us with the opportunity to experience the midnight sun in this Arctic town. Longyearbyen is the only city in the world that has a ban on births and a ban on deaths. Due to limited medical facilities and international agreements, all pregnant women must leave the city before their due date. Simultaneously, as long as a patient is alive, regardless of the severity of their illness, they must leave Longyearbyen. Unless a person dies suddenly, no one has the right to die here. Because the underground in Longyearbyen is mostly permafrost, buried bodies do not decompose. Instead, the permafrost expands, pushing the bodies to the surface. Additionally, the inability to cultivate agriculture in the permafrost means that almost all food needs to be transported from outside. Low taxes and minimal welfare mean that only those with sufficient financial means can afford to live here, resulting in a predominantly young population. Due to its remote location and year-round snowfall, the permafrost layer beneath Longyearbyen is suitable for preserving crop seeds. On the sandstone mountainside outside the city, there is a vault known as the Doomsday Vault, storing nearly 1 million samples of crop seeds from around the world. It is said that this Doomsday Vault provided crucial support to Syria in 2015, helping the country restore agricultural production as its own seed bank had been destroyed. In the evening, we headed to Camp Barents. The camp located at the foot of the Brainosa mountain in the Advent Valley, about 10 kilometers east of Longyearbyen. The mountain ranges on either side of the canyon loomed like giants in the fading light. Welcoming us was a young girl from Romania, carrying a long rifle on her shoulder and a short gun at her waist, exuding a confident demeanor. In Longyearbyen, every visitor receives a warning: do not wander around, you are staying in the home of polar bears. Indeed, there are nearly 5,000 polar bears in the vicinity of Longyearbyen, far exceeding the number of town residents. Those venturing outside the safety zones must be accompanied by someone carrying a weapon. This building, called Barents Hus, serves as a replica of the shelter used by the discoverer of Svalbard, Willem Barents, during the winter of 1596. Cammen Hus, another building, was the place where we dined that night. Entering the cabin, we gathered around a campfire, sipping hot drinks and tasting pancakes along with a traditional Sami stew called bidos, made from reindeer meat and vegetables. We listened to fascinating stories about polar bears and the history of the Svalbard archipelago. In the twilight of the night at 78 degrees north latitude, far from the town, Camp Barents felt incredibly vast, desolate, and tranquil. Here, under the lingering glow of the sun, we experienced a true wilderness night in the Svalbard archipelago. Early the next morning, we boarded the hybrid-powered catamaran MS Bard, embarking on a mini-adventure lasting 7 hours. This innovative catamaran utilizes electric propulsion when approaching glaciers and wildlife, ensuring a quiet journey to minimize environmental impact and avoid disturbing wildlife. Setting off from the Longyearbyen Pier, we traversed Advent Fjord before entering the expansive Sassen Fjord, continuing onward to Billefjord. Billefjord is renowned for its castle-like mountains and deep glacier valleys. Exploring Billefjord by boat is a quintessential Svalbard experience. Throughout the journey, our guide reminded us to appreciate the beauty of the wildlife and the fjords. playful walrus frolicking in the water. Atlantic puffin through the air. And various seabird species in the fjord captivated our attention. Finally, we arrived at the Nordenskjöld Glacier. Situated at the end of Billefjord, this glacier is named after the Finnish geologist Adolf Erik Nordenskjöld. Stretching 25 kilometers in length and 11 kilometers in width, the Nordenskjöld Glacier offers breathtaking views. Returning from the Nordenskjöld Glacier to Longyearbyen, we swiftly proceeded to experience a dog sledding tour with Svalbard Huskies. Our guide, a young girl from the United Kingdom, was equipped with both a long rifle and a short gun. After approximately half an hour of driving, we arrived at a remote and uninhabited dog kennel far from Longyearbyen. Here, 50 to 60 Siberian Huskies were residing. Svalbard Huskies are an ancient breed, adapted to extreme environments, known for their outstanding endurance and cooperative spirit. Before the advent of snowmobiles and off-road vehicles, dog sledding was the primary means of transportation in the Arctic region. Today, dog sledding in Svalbard is preserved solely as a tourist activity. The sled pulled by dogs comes in two types, for winter and summer. In the summer, this sled with wheels is used. Our guide instructed us to don outdoor activity gear before greeting the energetic Huskies. Vibrant and affectionate, the large-sized Siberian Huskies warmly welcomed us with enthusiastic embraces, alleviating the initial nervousness of our first encounter. After explaining how to harness the Huskies and ensuring safety measures, each group of 3 set off to drive their own dog sled teams. The 8 Huskies eagerly pulled the sled forward, showcasing remarkable teamwork. Throughout the 1.5-hour journey, the dogs took 2 short breaks to rest and drink water. Their impeccable coordination and cooperation, as if each dog knew its role and responsibility, left us in awe. As the cool breeze swept past, the distant glaciers reflected the summer's radiance. The journey, dancing with dogs at the edge of the world, became an unforgettable experience in the Svalbard archipelago. Upon returning, the guide took us on a tour of her Husky kennel, where dogs of various sizes lived and trained. The living conditions here were evidently less luxurious than those of pet dogs, but the guide assured us that each dog had designated work and rest times, underwent regular health checks, and received comprehensive care. The guilt we felt while riding the dog sleds was somewhat assuaged along the way. The journey to the Svalbard archipelago came to a close with a reluctant farewell. We departed from the world's northernmost airport, Longyearbyen Airport, beginning our journey back. However, the awe-inspiring memories of this polar expedition lingered in our minds. We look forward to the opportunity to set foot on this land again in the future.